Tonight on Internet Tonight, your kids may have seen Tarzan 1,000 times, but have they seen what's on the web? And a guy named Dr. Freeze, he's got one chilly computer. Plus a way to work out your two-wheeled aggressions without the long hospital stay. Cast off the training wheels, Knievel. It's time for Internet Tonight. Welcome to another satisfying edition of Internet Tonight. I'm Scott Harriet. Michaela Pereira is off wrestling moose. Topping Internet news tonight. Creators of the yet-to-launch entertainment network Pop.com hope to bring some top names from the big screen to your computer screen this spring. Will Smith, Julia Roberts, Eddie Murphy, and Mike Myers are reportedly in discussions with Pop.com to star in original web programming. Over the course of the last week, the company was soliciting scripts for 5-minute shorts to feature Smith, Roberts, and Murphy. The stars will most likely receive cash and stock options as payment for acting in said shows. Pop.com is being financed by Paul Allen's Vulcan Ventures, which also owns this outstanding network. Oh, and actors aren't the only celebrities signing website deals. Yes, Sears has announced a joint online venture with home improvement guru Bob Vila. The website, BobVila.com, will be majority owned by Sears. When complete, the new site will, oddly enough, provide ideas and plans for home improvement projects, as well as help in finding contractors and tools. Vila's current internet site, for now still located at BobVila.com, will remain online until the new site is operational. Sears plans to use info from Vila's books and television shows on the site. Well, all is not well in cyberspace for John Rocker, the vitriol-spewing Atlanta Braves pitcher. As you may know, this week, a federal arbitrator reduced Rocker's suspension and fine by Major League Baseball. But Fantasy Sportsnet, a major website for fantasy baseball leagues, did what Major League Baseball didn't. They suspended Rocker for the entire season, saying, quote, Mr. Rocker's irresponsible and insulting remarks offend the very people who constitute our subscriber base. The judgment-impaired pitcher will therefore be unavailable to play for any of the fantasy teams created by fans who compete at Fantasy Sportsnet. Are you tired of surfing through fat web pages on your pitiful 56K modem? Well, a guy named Stuart Butterfield feels your pain. So much so that he created a special contest to help get web design back to the basics. The 5K contest challenges smarty pants web designers to create a page or even an entire site using only 5 kilobytes of data. Wow. To put things in perspective, the average web page size is about 30 to 50K, with fancy sites topping off at well over 100K, hence the crappy load times with your measly modem. The purpose of the contest is to encourage creative thinking under rigid constraints. Some guys just have no luck. Yes, anyone trying to access Porn City, that's right, Porn City on Thursday afternoon, were victimized by a denial of service attack. Porn City, who claims to be the Internet's most visited pornographic site, was besieged for over an hour by persons unknown. It was a similar type of assault to the ones which shut down Internet giants Yahoo and eBay a few weeks ago. And you thought Cyber Nanny was effective. Is English the official language of cyberspace? None of those whiny French have anything to say about it. Worried about the way English words are creeping into the wired vocabulary, France's linguistic guardians are pushing their own jargon on the growing world of the Internet and e-commerce. For example, they say email should be referred to as message électronique. And new web companies will no longer be called les startups, but rather jeunes poussés des entreprises, which translates as young sprouts of companies. We're anxiously waiting to hear what they have to do with the term cyber squatting. Okay. Sure, sports may be popular with guys, but the subject doesn't drive web traffic quite like scantily clad babes. According to the Nielsen Net Ratings rankings of the top 25 web properties, CNN websites jumped from number 33 last week to number 15 this week, coinciding with the release of the annual Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. CNN SI's traffic jumped about 74% in a week's time, and you can bet it wasn't because of spring training coverage. Well, it's time to take a quick look at some stuff you may not be hip to quite yet in this week's Launchbox. The guy who gave us Spider-Man has a new online venture, StanLee.net. The site features 3 animated adventure series to watch in conjunction with Shockwave.com. There's also something called a Stanzine, where the great cartoonist himself sounds off on allegedly important issues of the day. Fans of fancy libations might want to drop by drinks101.com to check out a new version of their 100-proof cocktail planner. The thing has over 1,000 recipes, including a martini menu, hangover remedies, and most important of all, a blood alcohol chart. And a site that's sure to turn heads, The Exorcist finally has an official website 26 years after the film's debut. The site is launched to coincide with the theatrical re-release of the film, which now includes an extra 12 minutes of footage that was cut from the original version. And if you'd like to visit any of the websites you see featured on the show, please come to internettonight.com. You're going to find a list of all those things on something we like to call the big list. Ah, big list! Yeah, come on now! Yeah, more volume than a Linda Blair spew. If you're like me, you've often thought about overclocking your processor, but you're worried about the extra heat it might generate. Well, coming up, a man with a solution so drastic, some would call him insane. And who wears a loincloth, acts like an animal, and has sold millions of videos? Here's a clue. It's not Steve Forbes. That story, right after the break. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Internet Tonight. You know, there are a few things you can expect from any Disney's big animated features. Oh, yeah, cheesy popular songs, great animation, and usually big box office receipts. Tarzan was, of course, no exception. And since it came out on video last month, it's been #1 on the sales chart and a top 10 rental. But before Little Junior makes you watch it again for the 95th time, you might want to consider using the web to create a diversion. Here's Michaela with the story.
With a classic tale filled with monkey business, jungle fever, and a loincloth that never slips? You make a Disney flick, of course. Tarzan is Walt Disney Pictures' latest animated full-length feature. It's the famous story about an orphan baby boy raised by gorillas. When Tarzan grows up and finally meets humans, especially the lovely Jane, he becomes torn between the animal and human world.
Don't even think about it.
Tarzan also has a home in the cyber world, too. At Tarzan.com, there are 4 interactive shockwave games and a download of the music video, Strangers Like Me, sung by pop superstar Phil Collins in 5 different languages. The caliber of the animation in Tarzan is what you'd expect from a Disney movie. Lots of action, vivid colors, big doll eyes. Curious how it's done? On the website, the Disney animators illustrate step-by-step how they achieve that 3-dimensional jungle look and feel. They've invented a process called Deep Canvas, which is designed, they say, to really draw you in.
Tarzan's more comfortable on all 4s.
But state-of-the-art animation techniques alone don't create characters. Lead animator Glenn Keane is a 23-year Disney veteran who created memorable Disney characters like The Little Mermaid and Pocahontas.
His face is a combination of animal and human. His hair, it shouldn't be like Fabio hair. It should be, in the jungle, nobody's going to comb it.
In order to create Disney's Tarzan, Glenn studied anatomy and sculpture. He also drew upon inspiration from his wife and his skateboarding son, Max, to develop an exciting way for Tarzan to move through the jungle.
I said, well, Max, why are you doing this? He says, well, it's fun. And it's like, yeah, Tarzan should move through the jungle for the fun of it. It's a thrill for him.
I had in my head this image of Johnny Weissmuller,
Johnny Weissmuller may have brought his own unique spin to the Tarzan story. Who can forget lines like, "Me Tarzan, you Jane"? But the Disney folks went back to the original novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs for a fresh look. director Kevin Lima.
Edgar Rice Burroughs talks about Tarzan and how Tarzan moves through the trees, that he can actually jump like 20 feet across chasms and, dart to the ground 100 feet, that he can move like a leopard.
And what sets this Tarzan online and on the big screen apart from the 47 other Hollywood versions?
I think if an actor tried most of that stuff, he'd be dead.
And that Phil Collins song has been nominated for an Oscar. I only wish I were an Academy member so I could vote. When you start mixing mineral oil and computer hardware, you're just asking for trouble. In tonight's Strange Sighting offering, our subject is a man who truly needs a call for help.
Dr. Freeze likes fast computers, but the faster you push them, the hotter they get. And heat, my friends, is bad. So he decided to try keeping things cool by submersing his beloved PC in mineral oil. By using the cooling coils of an old air conditioner, a big insulated container, and a common household air pump, he's been able to chill his once toasty PC to a comfortable minus 40 degrees Celsius. And that, it turns out, proved to be a little too cool. Cold PC good, frosty PC bad. But Dr. Freeze doesn't give up that easily. He's currently in the design stages of a new water pump delivery system that will probably help inch his computer closer to light speed. However, we here at Internet Tonight don't recommend you try any of this at home, unless, of course, you're Leo Laporte.
And as far as we can tell, Leo's face hasn't changed. You can't buy the new sequel to the Superbike World Championship racing game quite yet, but you can get a free taste on the web. Stay tuned for the lowdown on that and a word from this walking road rash.
Hey everyone, the Surf Guru here. When we come back, I explain it all, and I tell you why Scott Harriet is just plain fussy.
You said, mate. The thrill of two-wheeled motorized mayhem. That's motorcycle racing to you and me. And while most of us lack the coordination, finesse, and just plain guts to open up full throttle and hug those corners like your mama on a Sunday, at the very least, we can pretend to.
Superbike 2000 is a sequel to the critically acclaimed Superbike World Championship. And while it may not be quite ready for retail, the folks at EA Sports have posted a one-track demo of the new raceling for your perusal. The object of the game remains simple: starting line, competitors, track, and finish line. However, where the game begins to show its complexity is in the exploitation of its license. You see, Superbike 2000 is the only license available for the SBK World Championships, and the full game will let you race last year's 1999 season in its entirety. Real-world riders and bikes are all represented. And it's perhaps important to remember that this may very well be your only chance to drive a prohibitively expensive Aprilia or Ducati Superbike. Plus, as a whack bonus, players can shake their fists in anger when things don't work out.
Friggle frag, boogie frag.
Now I know what you're thinking. Scott, manly wordsmith.
What's with the friggle frag and foogie frag?
You can read all about the new title at EA's official website. But if you want to sample Superbikes now instead of later, just hop over to the game's domain. EA Sports has posted their demo early, so just follow their links to download this pup to your hard drive. Once installed, just fire it up for a sampling of all things Superbike-like. It's the free Superbike 2000 game demo from EA Sports. All the fun of 150 horses rumbling between your legs without the threat of chafing.
Boogie frag.
And next week in online games, we go for something a smidge less macho with something called Sissy Fight 2000. I'm not joking. Sure, we all know there's oodles of search engines on the web that let you sift through web pages looking for keywords. But how about talk radio? Let's check in now with our Ritalin poster boy for some answers.
Well, if Megan Marks tells you that to get out of her face, she doesn't really mean, she's actually speaking in code, and I know this for a fact. She's actually used harsh words with me, but I've put it through the guru filter, and it's come out the other side, and I felt very good. I felt very good. And in my mind, we're dating. We're already divorced. Surf Guru here with a question from Joy. He says, Joy? That's okay, you know, it's a crazy world we live in. If Joy's a heathen, God bless him. How can I search for radio shows that have been broadcast on the net? Well, you can do it, but the trouble is most search tools are designed to scour text, and only a few can deal with sound files. But then there's SpeechBot, which is run by Now, SpeechBot, that's kind of a fun name to say around the house. You'll be over by the toaster putting in your raisin bread, and you'll just find yourself saying SpeechBot, because it's fun and funny. I read that little robot girl on that Small Wonder. She used to freak me out. I'd get her to empty the trash, but I wouldn't have her sitting at the breakfast table. Let me tell you that. Nom, 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 nom. Well, anyway, this experimental bot looks for radio shows by using speech recognition of keywords. Now, the site lets you look through, by keyword, through some 20 radio shows such as Art Bell, Dr. Laura Schlesinger. She comes across like she's trying to help people, but sometimes I think she comes from fear and not love. That's just me. That's just from the guru to you. And there's also Charlie Rose. He's from Texas, and he's a lot of fun. What did you want the audience to come away with? I don't know, gum? You can tell SpeechBot to look for a word, a phrase, or a Boolean expression. Boolean! Well, a Boolean expression would be like Hillary and divorce. Got a little phlegmy. And you can search through all the shows or just a single one. And you can look in shows for a single day or the past year. Well, that's it for now. If you have a question for me or a Boolean phrase you think I should explore, the address is guru@zdtv.com. Patrolling the halls of ZDTV. I'm the Surf Guru.
Yes, he's not much of a security guard, but he does know a thing or two about the old Trey Dub. If you have a question for his guru-ness, you can shoot him an email, and if you're lucky, and a good boy or girl, he might just answer it on the air. Tonight's Stupid Net Trick is guaranteed to help players fine-tune their sense of weight transference, trajectory, and time-wasting abilities. It's Clowns, an emulation of a classic old arcade game. And there's the guy going flying, and you want to get those little balloons, and sometimes if you get up there you go. Apparently they're filled with helium. This guy's high as a kite. Oh, that's a nice one. Didn't even come close to that during a rehearsal. This music provided by the local Italian restaurant down the street. And my goodness, this must be rigged. I didn't do nearly as well. Incredibly animated men jumping up and down there, and you keep doing that, and if you do really well, you win thousands of dollars. Well, next week, we continue the circus motif as we try to keep Snappy the rampaging elephant from killing his ringmaster. Let's check out a few online events for the week of March 6th, shall we? Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, best known as the funny guys from the Unfunny the Man Show, will be chatting about the presidential race and its relationship to hot chicks. That's March 6th. Get a load of these two then. 8 p.m. Eastern, yahoo.com. And The Roots will be hip-hopping away in a webcast on March 8th. You can catch a glimpse at 9 p.m. Eastern at hub.com. The Wind Beneath My Wings, Bette Midler will be chatting March 10th about her 2 new films, Isn't She Great? And Drowning Mona. 7 p.m. yahoo.com. If you've ever been through a bad breakup, you know how nasty it can get. Or maybe you just think you do. Monday, we talked to a guy whose girlfriend caught him cheating and then ruined all his stuff. His response? Naturally, he started a website. some time now, adults have been operating under the assumption that the way to get kids to learn about science is to actually fool them into thinking they're doing something fun. It works for Bill Nye, and hopefully for tonight's incredibly useful site.
What's more fun than a blue dog with a chef's hat? Why, stretching your brain with Funology.com, of course. This site is for the younger tykes and is chock full of science activities to keep even gorillas happy. Brain Drains has optical illusions to test if seeing is believing. Do you see blue or white boxes here? Or Presto Changeo Abracadabra has whack magic spells like the amazing floating egg trick. And yes, the yoke's on you with tummy ticklers to keep them rolling in the aisles. What do you get when you cross a snowman and a vampire? Naturally, frostbite. Remember, youngsters, it's all in the delivery.
Still need to learn that. A cool section of the site is called That's Odd, which has interesting facts about science and nature. For instance, it says on there that the average human dream lasts only 2 to 3 seconds, which is 1 second longer than Rick Rockwell's marriage. Thanks to the internet, single people no longer have to hang out in bars or supermarket produce aisles to look for dates. Now there's a thing called cyber matchmaking, and one lady who knows a thing or two, or 3 or 4, is our online expert, Megan Marks.
Hi there, and welcome to Love Online. Here are today's featured singles who have put their profiles and desires online at Match.com. Foxy lady that says she's a corporate during the day, but also has a hot, sexy, wild side that comes out at night. She met her last boyfriend through a personals ad and thinks internet dating is the way to go in the new millennium. Eeyore123 is an eccentric guy with a good sense of humor. He's looking for an attractive, witty woman with a big brain and a decent head to keep it in. Someone who can be reserved and charming, but then, whoop, does that Wonder Woman twirly thing and poof, becomes a wacky, funny oddball. Are you out there, Wonder Woman? If you come to internettonight.com, you can browse through all the photo personals you've seen here and more. And remember, as Lawrence Durrell once said, the richest love is that which submits to the arbitration of time. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Megan Marks.
And a reminder for those in our audience who only watch that segment to see Megan Marks. You know, there are 14 volumes of her online video profile at our website where she discusses things like toothpaste, hair color, and bad dates. There's also something called the Megan Marks Picture-O-Rama. Well, it's time again to check the old email sack. This one comes from a guy who calls himself S-Man500. He says, Dear Scott, something's been bothering me lately. How do you know if your TV set has been invaded by evil man-eating gremlins who wait for you to close your eyes so they can rip out your liver and sell it as a delicacy on their home planet of Zibjik? Well, S-Man500, obviously you wrote that, so maybe we would read it on the air. And it worked. Here's one from a guy named Keith Morgavi who writes, Could you go over to Fresh Gear and slap the bejesus out of Jim Louderback? Take a camera along with you. I'm sure there are many fans that would enjoy that. Well, Keith, sometimes your dreams can come true.
You really need to let go of the mouse.
I hate this mouse.
Just let it go.
It's awful.
And sometimes they don't. If you have something to say to us, drop us an email, will you? The address is it@zdtv.com. And if you want to visit any of the websites you've seen on the show, come to internettonight.com, and you're going to find all those links on the big list. And our daily music download today is a selection of 4 tunes from the chairman of the board himself, yes, Lee Iacocca. Now, Sinatra has something. You can find out more in the music online section of our site. Well, that's it for this very long episode of Internet Tonight. I'm Scott Harriet. Be good to each other.